Shaka, let's pick up on that penalty. Yes or no late on?
I thought it was.
Oh.
I thought Ronaldo's control was good. Maybe he does anticipate the contact from Sanusi coming, but I think once the control is clean and Sanusi is nowhere close to the ball, he just clatters into Ronaldo, who admittedly makes a meal of it. But I think there was more than enough contact.
Don?
No, not for me. I thought he was desperate there, Ronaldo. I thought what he was trying to do, he was trying to chop inside. Defender put the brakes on. I think we've got to get away, Dan, from contact equals foul penalty. There can be just a collision, an accidental collision. As I said, the centre-half tried to come across. He was putting the brakes on. His hands were in the air. I actually thought the referee had a really good night overall in general. I thought he reffed the game well. There was players diving, there was players moaning, and his body language was good, and he was just telling people to get up, have to get up and play on. And he reffed it really well. And he had that one big call right at the end with a penalty. But I think he reffed it well, and I think it was the right decition.
We were chatting to Peter Walton about it. He said that he didn't think it was a penalty, Ronaldo going down before there was contact.
Peter who? Peter, they seek him here, they seek him there. Where the hell's he disappeared to? He must have been trying to charge too much for this show. I don't know. What have I told you about asking goalkeepers about penalties? What have I told you? Never ask a goalie about any.
We forget Shaka hates Messi and loves Ronaldo, doesn't he? So
the one thing I would say is that even if the defender hadn't been there, Ronaldo was going to fall over.
Yeah.
He controlled the ball and he'd lost control of his balance and he was already on the way over. So I don't think that was a major talking point.
I'm not sure that he was going over. That's where.
Well, there was an angle. Have you watched this game?
I'm not sure that he was.
There was an angle. There was a slow-mo angle. Go on.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying. I think his control was clean,
yes,
and maybe he anticipates the contact, and maybe he's looking for it. But if the defender wasn't there, there is no doubt in my mind that he could have and would have kept his balance and got on at the end of that ball. Sanusi bundles into him.
Listen, I know he's done some magic things in his career, but he was going to defy the laws of gravity, getting back up from the angle he was at in the slow-mo camera. So I don't. Anyway, that's not really the big story here. The big story is how poor Juventus were again.
And how their season is falling apart a little bit. I know they're still in this contest, Don, but as Craig mentioned, this is a side who are fourth in Serie A, very much off the pace, into the favourites to win the title. Gab Marcotti would be here going, it's a transitional season. It doesn't matter. Expectations were low going into the start of this campaign. Pirlo was brought in to change the style of things to make them more competitive in the future. But we are seeing absolutely no progress, are we, done under Pirlo at the moment?
No, I totally agree. And we were talking on this show a couple of months back when he got off to a disastrous start. And if Mitsuru Sarri was in charge, the losses that Juve have taken this season, he would have been criticised massively. So he's sort of getting a free pass because he's a new manager. He's trying to change the style. The team's more or less morphing into his DNA, really, where he was a cultured player. And he's trying to have a slow tempo. It doesn't suit Juve. When you've got Bentancur and Rabiot in midfield, they're going to get closed down. Porto closed them down tonight. So good. They pressed them big time. They didn't have the talent and the speed to play up from the back and into midfield and through the lines. But it's the big games that are costing them. They lost against Inter. They lost against Napoli at the weekend. They weren't good enough. But it was tonight's showing where I really thought that was one of their poorest performances. Yeah. There was no real structure. There was no real DNA. There was no speed about their play. They were just reliant on maybe a bit of Ronaldo magic and Morata coming off the bench for 10, 15 minutes, who looked quite lively. But it was a real disjointed performance, I thought.
Did you know? Juventus set fourth in a league where Inter Milan are top. Inter Milan, who finished bottom of their group in the Champions League, right? And fans in particular, but also people in our business, get carried away with these ex-players, right? Oh, he was this, he was that for Italy, he was that, brilliant. And I'll go back to these points. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't get the United job because he was this great player. Arsene Wenger didn't revolutionise Arsenal because he was this great player. City didn't go after Guardiola just because of his playing at Barcelona. They went after him because of the job he did there in Bayern Munich. Similar Liverpool with Jurgen Klopp. The list goes on. These are guys that are steeped in the dye of learning the management
Solskjaer's
job.
gone in, done well at Manchester United.
Has he? I must have missed that one. You know, and we could be talking about the same thing with Arteta at Arsenal. We've seen Frank Lampard at Chelsea. Not to say that none of these guys will go on to be great managers. They might. But this dropping, and the people go back to Guardiola and say, well, he did it. He came from the B team. And
Zidane as well, people point to as well, given his success in the Champions League.
yeah, but is Zidane a great manager or just somebody who goes in there and coaches? Look, the bottom line is Pirlo might get a little bit more leeway because of the player he was.
Right.
But that's a nonsense. That's an absolute nonsense. And Juventus have taken a big risk here in trying to make these whatever changes they want to make to be competitive, by the way, in this competition. Not in Serie A. They were winning Serie A every year.
Yeah.
They wanted to make the change to be competitive in the Champions League. And boy, they were complete. I know it might be different next year when the novice manager has another 12 months. I suggest probably not.
Who goes through?
I'm not going to say Juventus now. I'm going to say Porto.
Don?
I think probably Juve will just get it done, but they might not go any further.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.